Welcome to this week's episode of Confessions of a Fitness Professional. I'm your Fit Pro, Andra Anderson, and we're gonna get into some of my favorite awkward fitness professional experiences. And this list includes a pretty big range of things. Like if you could imagine some of the most awkward and embarrassing things to happen to a fitness professional, in my 15 years, I have probably experienced most of them, many of them, and I'm going to share a few stories with you today. So before we do that, just a quick check-in. I am in the middle of my fall into fitness challenge. I am loving seeing everybody's updates about hitting each day's video. There are 10 to 15 minute videos each day. It's a 20-day challenge, and it's been so inspiring just to follow along and read everybody's comments and hear about what people love and love to hate, and just the inspiration of daily movement and keeping each other accountable. I love hosting these virtual challenges because no matter where we are, we can do these sessions individually and independently, but come together and have this shared goal and kind of enjoy each other's reactions and keep each other motivated to finish the challenge and continue to go. And this one's been fun because it's a combination of bar and strength training and yoga, and it was a fun one to film, and it's been a fun one to follow. So loving that currently. I'm in this season of wanting to change everything. So if you are watching the YouTube, you will notice that my podcast set has been changing a little bit, tweaking a little bit each week. I'm still not done with it. I've ordered a few things, but I'm just trying to reimagine my spaces. And my fitness studio was really set up at the height of the pandemic when there were really no in-person classes, and I was filming everything and documenting everything and just needed a space to connect with people virtually. So my needs for the space have changed. I wanted a space that was dedicated for my OOTDs, outfit of the day, for the podcast, and also still a space where I can film videos. So I do group challenges. As a personal trainer, I put together individualized sessions for people. I'm gonna be Zooming with a corporate group in a little while, coming up this fall. So I still wanna have a space that I can film things and virtually share classes with people, but that doesn't need to be the only use of this space. So I'm excited to kind of transform the space, and I get like that. I get in those moods where I just want to refresh something. I love it, and I appreciate what it's been doing and what it's been there for, but I want to refresh it, and I want a new feeling. I want an energy. So I actually brought this chair from my downstairs office, which I don't use as much. And I think if we repurpose that space, eventually it would become part of our walk-in pantry, or like making the kitchen bigger, or maybe turning into the dining room. Not really sure yet. That's still kind of a ways to go, but I do love having a separate studio space and a separate home office space to have a dedicated space to do work. So I'm not just sort of doing it on the kitchen table, but I'm looking forward to this season of transition and change. I am eagerly waiting to get my pumpkins to decorate the front porch for the fall. I love to do that mid-September, and here we are. It's mid-September. I'll be going to Council Farms to host a class over the weekend. So that's where I usually get my first big load of pumpkins and mums and things to decorate the porch, and I'll just sort of slowly put it together so that it's ready to go October 1st. I love having those vibrant fall colors to look at. I love sitting on the porch and reading, and I'm ready for that season. I'm ready. So that's sort of what's going on here. I'm looking forward to having a week off at the YMCA as they transition into the new space, and that new space will open on hopefully October 2nd, and I have one more class there this week, so that's pretty cool. And just continuing to teach at Washington College and enjoying the flow of that and welcoming some of the college students back. But okay, let's get into the confessions. Without further ado, I wanted to share 5 of my most awkward moments during my 15-year fitness professional career. Now remember, there have been many. I just chose 5. I will probably be able to do another one of these sessions and recount some other stories, but these are the ones that sort of stand out in my mind in my 5 years. Okay, the first one is I was maybe 4 or 5 years into being a fitness instructor, teaching primarily at Washington College at that point, was teaching there almost every day. Whenever they would have me, I wanted to host a class. And I welcomed lots of community members. I was teaching a class called Pt.1, which was such a fun, Shalene Johnson. If anybody remembers Powder Blue Productions, oh my gosh, my girl Shalene, living her best life. She had Turbo Kick, she had, I think there was like a hip hop, I never did that one, but then there was Pt.1, which was like a really fun blend of Pilates and yoga and a little bit of ballet training. And it made yoga, or the idea of yoga and Pilates, accessible to our cardio loving friends. So people that usually would go toward a cardio class, this satisfied that cardio need, but brought it onto the mat. And it was fun and energetic and to really great music. And I loved teaching that class. It was also an online format. So all of Shalene's classes, I don't know, maybe she started them in person and then they were like videos that through her Powder Blue Productions and then later Beachbody, any individual could sign up and take the challenge or take her classes. So Pt.1 was also available in an at-home environment. So I would regularly have people that loved the at-home edition come to the group class, and they were similar but different. And of course, as the instructor, I'm not Shalene. She has, 30 plus years in the fitness industry. At this point, I had 5. And I had this one participant who had been doing the at-home videos and came to the Pt.1 class in person, and I think forgot that they were in a live class with a live instructor and other individuals, and kept talking. Like, at first it was motivational, like, let's go ladies, all right, here we go. And I was like, that's so fun, live the life, love it. I love when people talk, because when it is silent, that's really hard for the instructor. When it's too noisy, that's also hard. There's like a happy medium where people get excited, motivate each other, but then like, hush. But this did not stop. This individual just kept saying, let's go ladies. And through the class, on the video, Shalene is instructing, and she has like 5 additional people with her. And in addition to them showcasing the movements, Shalene could like walk around, talk to people, show variations of the moves. It's very hard when you're trying to do it as one person to show all the proper variations, all the proper form. And this person that was like, started off with the motivating talking was like, are you gonna showcase the proper form for this movement? Are you gonna showcase 5 different variations for this movement? Like, it just was nonstop. And I was like, why don't you show us? At first I was sort of like, what is happening? And then I was like, well, what about you? And then I said, okay, we're gonna have, this one's gonna be like quiet time. We're gonna concentrate and focus on our movements. If we're speaking, we're using too much energy. So we're gonna turn that energy into movement. And afterwards, after the class, this person came up to me and said, you have to have people showing variations, and you have to showcase proper form. And I was like, love that. Are you an instructor? No. Okay, cool. And then that's how I found out that their introduction to Pt.1 had been through these at-home videos where you have 5 people showing you all the movements. And I was like, that is not real life. This is the class version of that. And I love that you had that background. But my goodness, like it's very distracting to say that out loud and in person. Like I'm trying to teach the class and people weren't sure who to listen to. So yeah, that was not cool. I'm trying to remember now if that person ever came back, but that really rattled me. And I was like, get out of here. Like kind of like almost like, I don't think I want you to come back. I don't think this is the right environment for you. So that was one. That's just one story. We have so many more. I have another instance where I was teaching yoga and I had this one participant who, when we would do like ab work or anything on our backs, would grab their phone laying there and playing on their phone in the middle of class. Now, I did not teach at a like traditional yoga studio. I taught at a studio at a college for most of my classes, or outdoors. So there were no like signs up like put your cell phones away. We do quiet time in here. Yes, it was different, and it wasn't like you couldn't have your phone nearby, but this person would always be on their phone, laying on their back, just going like this. And I'm thinking, like, you could go. Nobody's keeping you here. And it was just the weirdest thing. And that was like their form of relaxation, but it was sort of, I don't want to say it was distracting. It distracted me. I don't know if it distracted other participants. I don't think the sound was on or anything, and they were kind of in the back corner. But that was like, okay, do I need to like have a policy about cell phones? But then I didn't want to be that person. So that person ended up not, switching, transitioning to different jobs, moved away, and has not been back. But that was an interesting scenario where it was like, what's happening? Am I boring you? Like, do you want to go? You can go. Like, there's the door. You can leave. So little PSA, like, don't do that. Do not be on your phone in the middle of class. If you need to get on your phone, maybe question if you can actually be in that class. Like, shut it off. Give yourself 30 minutes of the day. Give yourself 45 minutes, 60 minutes. You deserve it. You deserve it. Nobody has to be on 24/7. And it wasn't like it was an emergency. They were just playing a game. So there you go. Another one is, and this is more, maybe it's not as awkward. It can make things awkward when you live in a small town. I would have people, and this happened a lot more during the pandemic, reach out to me about personal training. And in that like kind of inquiry stage, we go back and forth. You might have an initial phone call, like, what are your interests? What are your goals? And at that point, it's not like you're locked in. I don't make you pay me for that initial call. It's more like, can we work together? Am I the right fit for you? And I would get so far with some people, like, yes, the right fit, and then they would just not respond. So it's so strange. And a few of times, there weren't many, maybe a handful of times, but a couple of times, it's been somebody that like, I know, and would see. And it was like, hey, like, and it gets awkward because I don't want to force you to take on something. Like, some people just don't know how to properly back out. I like to think that I give you opportunities to back out if it just is not the right vibe, not the right fit. I'm not the right person for everybody. Just that's the way it is. And I have no attachment to that. But like, end it. If it's not the right fit, be real with somebody. We're human beings, right? Don't let it be awkward so that the next time that we encounter each other in a very small town, which is gonna happen, it's not like, oh, hey, like, no hard feelings. If you say no and you don't want to do something, cool. Maybe I can connect you with somebody else who can better serve you, or, we just part our ways, and it's totally fine. But don't make it awkward. Don't make it awkward. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna save this one for last. The fourth one, so I have 5 for today. The fourth one is when we were mostly outside, or we're like completely outside during the pandemic. We were able to gather in very small groups. So I was teaching like every single day at a park. Fun fact, you're no longer allowed to do that because we kind of overdid it, but we had nowhere else to go. And I had this group of very like fitness hungry people that wanted to move their bodies, and it was safe to do it outside. So there we were. We would often have people watch us, and sometimes it's fun at first, like, oh, hey, we got an audience. And they'd like look for a minute, and then they'd go on their merry way. Totally fine. You are allowed to do that. You are allowed to stop, see what's happening, and then move on with your life. But no, we would have a couple of individuals that would like take up residence and just sit there very close to us and watch. And it was like, Okay, now it's getting awkward. Like, you're welcome to just check it out, see what's happening, ask a question, move on. Nope, they would sit, park down, and watch. And it was like, okay. I had one instance where I taught at a community center where somebody was just gawking through the window, and I had to go out and say something like, this is uncomfortable. Please don't watch people working out. Like, go somewhere else. This is not the place. We are going to say something to you. But in the park where people are free to be there, it was kind of awkward. It was very awkward. We would sort of like stare back at the person like, are you going to join us? What's happening? But yeah, that was very awkward. Only happened a couple of times, but dang, when it does, it just sort of like, I'm like, okay, we're not bending over. We're not doing anything like super drastic. We're gonna try not to like jump up and down too much. Like, I want people to feel comfortable in classes, but it was an outdoor park. So there was that. The last one, this is a good one. Save the best for last for now. There are many more awkward stories. These are just 5. I was hired during the pandemic for with this family of 4, not from here, that was visiting. They got stuck here because they were on vacation during the pandemic and they couldn't get home. And it was a very long time before they got home. So they were connected to me by somebody else. I can't remember who referred them to me for yoga at first it was for their children, like 7 or 8-year-old children. And they were doing yoga regularly at their school and they wanted to keep up with it. And I thought, this is awesome. So we agreed upon a price, we agreed upon a day and a time, and it would be a weekly session. It went off great at first. Like, it was outdoors, I would come, the kids were very eager to learn, they wanted to do tricks. It's so fun to do yoga with people that are super flexible, because like kids, and have zero fear. Kids have zero fear and will try anything. It's really fun to watch that progress. But then after a couple of weeks, like, the dad wanted to join in and I thought, great. The dad would come out in this like full white, this flowy outfit. And I was like, cool, dig your vibes. And then the mom would join. But when the dad and the mom were there together, they would bicker. And then the kids would act differently when the parents were there. They would be like showing off or like goofing off. And I just witnessed so many awkward family transactions that I should not have been there for, like yelling, kind of wanting attention. It got weird really quickly. And there was, at the very last session, and that I was not asked to come back, and they pay me in advance for the last 3 sessions that we did have scheduled, and we're like, we're not gonna need this anymore. And I was like, thank you, I don't think I wanna come back. It was so bizarre. They were all fighting and storming off, and I'm standing there like, so downward dog? No? Okay, cool. Like, can I go? Can I go? Can I go? It was the most miserable class I think I've ever taught, but they did pay me handsomely for it. They paid me in advance for the last 3 sessions that we had scheduled, and I've never heard from them since. I don't know what happened. I hope that they made it home. But I was witness to, I think I just saw full out the effects of pandemic and them spending all of their time together. It sort of just came out in this yoga class, and they were just not happy with each other, and I got to see the whole thing. So I got a front seat to that, and I did not even buy a ticket. And they paid me to be there, so that was strange. At first it was fine, and then it got weird. So you never know what you're going to encounter as a fitness professional, and I'm here to entertain and share these stories. Believe me, I have plenty more, but we'll keep it there for this session. So that is this week's confession. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have ever experienced an awkward or uncomfortable situation in a fitness class, I would love to hear about it. Commiserate with me. Let's chat. So fun to learn about and hear after the fact. Not fun to live through a lot of them, but okay to hear about after the fact. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you for another class. Here I am thinking I'm filming a virtual class. See you for another class very soon. I'll see you for another podcast, another session of Confessions of a Fitness Professional next time. Bye.